Sir, good evening. Am I audible?
Good evening, sir. Namaskar.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Uh, just we wait for a few more minutes.
Sure, sure. Definitely, sir.
Surajit, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay, so I think people will be able to join, but we should start the session.
Achha, we will start the session. No, sir. Right, sir.
So,
Okay.
welcome all the
Today it will.
participants. On behalf
Mhm.
of Aryavata Sahadev School Complex, I welcome you all for this new session. And we have with us our merge resource person, Surajit sir, once again. So I request Surajit sir to please start the session. The participants
Right.
are start. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And good evening to Himanshu, sir, our mentor, our guide. Whenever we need to do anything, sir is always there. So good evening to sir. Good evening to Radhika ma'am, president of Aryavardha Saudya School Complex, chairperson or chairperson. I think she's the chairperson of Aryavardha Saudya School Complex. Good evening to all the respected teachers, learned teachers, honorable teachers who are present in this platform today for this particular 1 hour session. It will be a little more than 1 hour because we'll have some deep discussions on certain aspects of this program. Good evening to all principals, vice principals who are also present in this particular program. Okay, so there is nothing new.
Your camera is switched off.
Camera needs to be stopped, no, sir?
No, it's switched off. It is camera is stopped.
I'm opening the camera, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm no. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so today we will be discussing about a very important topic and which we need every day in our day-to-day life in teaching learning process. Because I personally always believe that whenever we conduct any training program, it should be result oriented. It should be something that we will use in our day-to-day working, in our day-to-day life as far as our own profession is concerned. So today our session will be on very particular important topic. I'll let you know that. But before that, just a few discussions on why we have chosen this topic and what is the significance, what is the need of this. Before we go, okay, once again, let's give tribute to Alvin Toffler, the person whom I respect a lot. And all of you know that in 1970, he wrote a book called Future Shock. And in that particular book, he wrote that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. You know, these last 3 lines, or if you take the entire quotation, it has tremendous, tremendous significance in our profession. We teachers simply can't expect to say that, okay, we have learned everything. For us, learning is a continuous process. It's a never-ending process. It will go on, and we have to learn. Maybe some of the things in our learning process we have to leave and we have to relearn them, or we have to get some new ways of thinking the things that we are supposed to think. Okay, and there is a saying in English which says that change with a change, or else the change will change you. So we cannot afford to be rigid. We can't afford to be too much stuff, and we cannot just say, no, I will just only follow the classics, will not move an inch ahead of that. That's not what we are supposed to do. We have to move forward. We have to move with a change, and we have to learn what are those changes. So keeping this in mind, keeping Alvin Toffler's quotation in mind, we'll move forward. They say that teachers who love teaching, teachers who love teaching teach children to love learning. Yes, if you are really passionate about your work, if you really love teaching, then you will compel to make students love learning also, because that is what is there within you. So if you love teaching, you will definitely make your students love learning also, and you should, and we all should make it in that way. Okay, so today our topic is revised Bloom's taxonomy and drafting test items. Revised Bloom's, all of you know about Bloom's taxonomy. All of you have studied about Bloom's taxonomy. I think a lot of training, but still, you know, Bloom's taxonomy is something that needs to be revised time to time. You just cannot say, okay, I know it and that's all. No, we need to revise Bloom's taxonomy. We may need to go deep into it, because the more we learn about Bloom's taxonomy, we find that wonderful way of explaining things are there in the school classrooms. And without Bloom's taxonomy, we cannot move an inch in our classrooms. Whatever we do in our teaching learning process, whether we are teaching the classrooms, whether we are conducting tests, whether we are conducting examinations, everywhere we need Bloom's taxonomy. We need the help of Bloom's taxonomy. So we'll discuss about Bloom's taxonomy or rather to say the revised Bloom's taxonomy, and we will also see how to draft test items. Now, what are these test items? Test items are like how to prepare. Exam time is going on. I think all of you have prepared the question paper. But then again, in the new session, when we will start with the new education policies, rules, and regulations, maybe at that time also this will be very, very useful for us of drafting the test items. That is why I have said that revised Bloom's taxonomy and drafting test item is like ascertaining the quality and quantity of learning. Through this process, we will also learn how the quality and quantity of learning happens inside a classroom, even outside a classroom also. So today, what we will learn today, we will see about Bloom's taxonomy and revise the Bloom's taxonomy. If we want to talk about revised Bloom's taxonomy, we must know about Bloom's taxonomy also. We will see the key stages of test developments, how to develop a test, how to make a question paper. We'll also see how to make a blueprint, which is very, very important. Without a blueprint, you just simply cannot make a very good question paper. Okay, the process of item writing, what are the ways of writing the items, how to assemble a test, and finally how to price the test or or to do a test analysis. Post examination matter is also important for us. So all these things we need to know, and through Bloom's taxonomy only you will be able to know this. Okay, so let's start the day. A peep at Bloom's taxonomy and revised Bloom's taxonomy. Just let's have a brief discussion on this before we move into the final matter. In 1956, this gentleman called Benjamin Bloom and the project made a framework which classifies the statements of what the teachers expects or wants the students to learn as a consequence of their instructions. Now, we all teachers are giving our instructions, sharing our instructions inside the classroom, and what we expect from them. What do we expect from them to learn from our expectations? This is exactly what Bloom wanted to say through his taxonomy. Of course, Bloom and his associates were also there. So this is Benjamin Bloom. He was born in 1913 and he passed away in 1999. What do you mean by a taxonomy? What do we mean by taxonomy? Taxonomy means a set of classification, principles, or structure and domain, or simply as category. So taxonomy means what? A set of classifications, or simply a principles, or in a very, very simple way, the various categories, various domains or areas that we follow when we are teaching our students inside the classroom. This theoretical account is generally classified under three broad areas, or domains, and which are further divided into levels that run from simple to complex behaviors. Now, what are those simple and complex behaviors? Let us see. Now, the three domains of learning, respected teachers, that we have are the cognitive domain, which is a knowledge-based domain consisting of 6 layers. It has 6 layers. We have the affective domain or the attitudinal-based domain consisting of 5 layers, and we have the psychomotor domain, skill-based domain consisting of 6 layers. For us, all the 3 layers are important, but today we will only be discussing about the cognitive domain. The cognitive domain is the knowledge-based domain. It's more or less discusses about the brain, how we remember things, how we analyze things. Okay. The psychomotor domain is also a part of the teaching learning process where we use our hands. Why you call psychomotor? Because the nerves are also used, the hands are also used, where we think and then we do the things like writing, drawing, and etc. I will discuss about it a little later about it. Then we have the attitudinal based domain or the affective domain when we apply the heart. When we move away, when we cross the threshold of stereotype teaching learning process, and when teachers, they apply their heart to do something which is beyond the normal learning process. When we want to do something new, when we want to create something new, that is the affective domain. Okay, let's move forward a little bit. Now, the cognitive domain, just have a discussion about it. It's the largest portion of educational or teaching learning objective It's the largest portion of educational or teaching learning objectives falls into the cognitive domain. Okay. So the largest portion of teaching learning aspect that happens, it happens in cognitive domain. Okay. The cognitive area. It includes those objectives that deal with recall, recognition of learned material, and development of intellectual abilities and skills. So the largest proportion of the educational or teaching learning objective falls into the cognitive domain. And it is that domain which includes or deals with recalling certain things that we learn, recognizing them, the learning materials, okay, and developing an intellectual capabilities or abilities and skills, how to use them and when to use them in the right way. The psychomotor domain, it is also known as the cognitive domain. This area is concerned with physical, motor, or manipulation, physical or motor, or manipulation skills like handwriting, practicals, drawing, illustrating, whatever we do, whatever the students do in the classroom, that deals with the psychomotor domain. The action words, or you can say the actions that generally take place. And of course, we have the affective domain. This area is concerned with the heart, extra feelings beyond the stereotype learnings. Generally, in the classroom, what happens? Students learn. They most of them mug up and jug up the things. A few of them understand it, and that's how the system goes on. We conduct examinations. The children pass and all. But then you will also notice in each and every classroom, there's also one or two child thinks in a different way. They go out of the threshold of the normal learning and comes out with brilliant ideas. And this happens only when your attitude, your values develop for the appreciation of what something is learned, when you apply the heart, when you think in a different way. This is also important. That's what also happens in a classroom. Okay. Now see, Bloom's taxonomy, it goes in this way. According to Bloom, when the process of learning from simple when goes on to becoming complex, the teaching learning process step by step goes on changing itself. So first of all, generally what happens in a normal classroom, students get knowledge. Okay, that's what they said. What Bloom said, this is what Bloom said, okay, that students get knowledge. They learn how to define things, they learn how to arrange things, they learn how to order things. Whatever the teacher teaches, they just simply mark it and remember it. That's what Bloom said. Then the next level of teaching goes on when students try to comprehend it, try to go understand it in a different way. They try to discuss about it. They try to, or the teaching is made in that way that the teachers explain how to report the things, how to locate the things. Right? Instead of simply memorizing the things, how to become, make it a bit different in a different way. Then the same teaching learning which goes on uh, is how it is applied. How it is applied in a day-to-day life. Okay. Like the same thing that can be taught, how it is applied. And in this case, what we teach them how to demonstrate the things, we teach them how to choose. Maybe they are asked to make a sketch out of it or dramatize or interpret it. This is another complex part of learning. This also happens in the classroom. And then the next part of learning is that when they try to question the things in a different state, they make examinations, try to apply whatever is learned, try to take the things, join them, rejoin them, and make out something more deep understanding towards it. After that comes the next level of higher learning, that is synthesis. When students try to make something different, they come out with new ideas. And after that, they try to find out what are the new ideas that have been made. Were they correct? Were they up to the mark? Are they really viable to us? This is what happens in a classroom. This is what happens in a classroom. That's what Benjamin Bloom said when he made this taxonomy. And one more thing, respected teachers, we will notice that it is in form of a pyramid. So in a classroom, maximum students, they just get a knowledge about it. That's what Bloom said. And a good number of them will try to go a bit deeper into it, because if you see the area, the base of the pyramid goes from larger to smaller ones. Okay. So at top we see the evolution where only a handful of number of children are there. This is what Bloom said, that this is how our teaching learning process takes place in a classroom. And First, we have the lower order thinkings, and then then the children get the higher order thinkings, which is like analysis, synthesis, formation. This is what Bloom said till 1956. He started it in 1956, and it went on. But as you know, respected teachers, in the mid 90s, some changes were taking place. In mid 90s, because change is a way of life. Change is how things moves on. We have to move with the change. We just cannot sit and stick to one particular matter and say, well, this is how it should be, and it should go like this forever. No, it cannot be like that. So in 2001, a revised Bloom's taxonomy came up. What was going on? Research was going on, how to make things much better and brighter. So in 2001, a revised Bloom's taxonomy came out, and this was done by these three gentlemen, Lauren Anderson, David Krathol, and Paul Pintrich. Lauren Anderson happens to be a students of Benjamin Bloom. David Krathol was also associated with, and Paul Pintrich, a rather young man compared to Lauren Anderson and David Krathol. All of these three gentlemen, they joined hands together and they came out with something new. Not exactly something new, but definitely some changes they were looking for, and they came out. So according in 2001, Lauren Anderson, a former student of Benjamin Bloom, he revised the taxonomy. According to Lauren Anderson, classroom is an action-oriented place. Just before I go over there, just one more minute. I want to tell you one thing. If you see all these, okay, if you see these various categories like knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, the various steps of learning, these are actually nouns. These are actually nouns which were used by Benjamin Bloom. But when the revised taxonomy came up, sorry, just a minute. Just a minute. So when the revised taxonomy came up, then the nouns were changed into verbs. Because according to Lauren Anderson, classroom is an action-oriented place. Action-oriented means what? Is it some sort of very heavy work? Actually, in a classroom, students think. And thinking itself is actually an action-oriented word. Literally, thinking means you are doing something, some action is going on. A classroom cannot be a stationary place. The brain is working right from beginning to end in a day. So he changed the 6 categories of now from noun forms into verb forms. Action oriented. Okay. And he also rearranged 2 categories to make the taxonomy more logical. So Lauren Anderson, he made the taxonomy, he just rearranged it. He changed a little bit. And why that is why we call it as a revised Bloom's taxonomy. And now you see, this is the original taxonomy. If you see this corner, okay, over here, if you see the pointer, the original taxonomy that just now we have discussed is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evolution. This exactly takes place in a classroom. This is how the teacher teaches. That was according to Bloom. But now after 2001, the revised Bloom's taxonomy came, and where it is said that students actually remember the things. Now, there's a big difference between remember and knowledge. Students generally in a classroom, when in the first round of teaching, teachers teach it and students remember. Most of the students remember. Now, what is this remembering and knowledge all about? Now, when I talk about knowledge, in a broader sense, it's a vast word. Knowledge is not just saying it is knowledge. Suppose if you ask me that, sir, do you have any knowledge about Dr. Himanshu Pandey? Then I should have complete idea about Dr. Himanshu Pandey in each and every aspect. I should know his details, where he was born, where he received his education, what is he doing at the present time, what are his qualifications, where is he from, what he loves, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what are his special qualities, and everything if I know, then I have some knowledge about Dr. Himanshu Pandey. But if you simply ask me, sir, do you remember Himanshu Pandey? I say, oh, I remember Himanshu Pandey, sir. He is principal of this particular school. He stays in Patna, and that's all. So in general, the first round of study is like this. Students just remember the things. They don't get complete knowledge. They just remember, they try to recall them, and that's how they use it. But in the next level of understanding, next comes the understanding. where a deep idea about what has been taught goes into the mind of the. That's how we teachers teach. After that, we try to apply. We said application over here, applying. Apply the understanding, apply the learning in a new situation, uh, apart from what has been taught. That is the next level of complex of learning. Then we go for analyzing, break them, join them, rejoin them to in a different circumstances. And after that comes evaluating. Means whatever has been taught, are they really perfect? What are the missing links? Okay, what we talk about now, we talk about critical thinking. This is the area where students start critically analyzing. They put on to their critical thinking caps and they try to find out, or we rather compel them to find out whatever has been taught, how these things happen. What are the things that really needed over here, and what are the things needs to be weeded out, removed out. Finally comes the creation, where really creative thinking comes. We talk about creative thinking also, no? That one of the 21st century schools is about creative thinking. Create something new out of what has been learned, something completely different. So this is how the teaching learning process takes place in our classroom. And this exactly is the way to remember the things, to learn the things, to analyze, to apply them. And that's how and we are using same level of Bloom's taxonomy in our day-to-day teaching learning process, in our examinations, in paper making, and everything. So the new taxonomy reflects a more active form of thinking and is perhaps the more accurate. So the new taxonomy, that is, or better to say the revised taxonomy, reflects a more active form of thinking. In the beginning, I told you, thinking itself is an action. That is why when this Lauren Anderson made it in this way, that it is more an action-oriented area. He changed all the nouns into verbs. So thinking itself is an action, and this is perhaps the most accurate form of teaching learning process that takes place within the classroom. So once again, in detail, remember, recall facts and basic concepts. The first mode of learning: define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, state. These are the different types of verbs that we generally are applied when we try to remember the things, or rather, the students remember the things in the first part of learning. Then understand, explain ideas or concepts, classify them. Try to go deep into it and try to find out exactly what is there. Describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, select. These are various verbs, okay, that are used in the teaching learning process of the next level of learning, a little more complex part of learning. Then comes the apply, just use information in a new situation, execute, implement, okay, formulate something new, solve a problem, studying that whatever you have studied in a different way, try to operate it, make a sketch, draw items and all these things. Okay, that is done. After that, analyze, draw connections among the ideas, break them, join them, rejoin them. I said, no, try to find the difference, how the differences can be joined together, why the differences are needed, stick with them, examining, questions, ask question, and then the evaluation. Okay, evaluate it, justify a stand or a decision. Okay, this is bit of why this will be like that. Try to apprise it, go for an argument, try to defend. So this is where the critical thinking comes in a classroom, and then produce a new one, where creative thinking comes out. Only a handful of people up there. This is revised Bloom's taxonomy. Respected teachers, if you are interested, you can take a screenshot of this. You can keep it in your classroom so that it will become very easy for you to make your student understand what exactly you want them to understand. Okay. This is also both the original one and the revised one. Both original one and the revised one is there. Both the original one and the revised one is also over here. So you can keep this one also, this photograph also, you can keep it. And next we move to a teacher's expectations on group taxonomy. Now what we expect. So when we're talking about remembering, we say, what do I expect from the learner to know? That is what, because we expect them to remember the things. Understanding. Can learners interpret what they know? This is also one of our questions to our own selves when we are in the process of teaching learning. Do they really interpret what they know? Can they extrapolate from what they know? Can they give out some ideas? Can learners see the relevance of these ideas when applying, analyzing? Can learners analyze the elements of the subjects and field? Can they analyze the relationship in the field, what they have studied? Or say evaluating, can learners make judgment based on the internal evidence? This is also what we expect when we teach our children. And can they produce, and they create and creating, can they produce unique communication in the field? Can they deprive a set of abstract relationship, the feeling relationship? Can they develop a plan or propose a set of operations in a new way? This is what a teacher expects from a student while he or she is teaching in the classroom. Well, so respected teachers, actually knowingly or unknowingly, we are using Bloom's taxonomy or revised Bloom's taxonomy daily in our classrooms for the teaching learning process. We are using them daily in our classroom. And without Bloom's taxonomy or without revised Bloom's taxonomy, we simply cannot move an inch in our classrooms in whichever domain we are. This is absolutely clear, and we have to understand this very clearly. So we have to move with Bloom's taxonomy, and we are using it. Yesterday, if you had a classroom, you use Bloom's taxonomy also. Now, for the purpose of development of test items, respected teachers, in the exams conducted by boards as well as by schools, we will restrict ourselves to the cognitive domain only. Okay, we'll not go into the psychomotor domain or into the affective domain. We will remain within the cognitive domain because this is the area where we need maximum emphasis. The Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive domain provides an excellent structure for preparing, designing, measuring, and assessing the effectiveness of instructions and learning. Yes, it's 100% true. Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive domain, it provides us an excellent structure. It gives an excellent structure. It gives us excellent ideas on designing, measuring, and assessing the effectiveness of the instruction and learning. Means how we will make a question paper, how we will try to analyze them and all. And this is one of the best way of doing it. This structure also functions as a checklist by which a teacher can ensure that teaching is planned to deliver all the necessary developments for the students. Yes, this structure is also very much helpful for us in making a checklist to see whether we have passed through each and every domain and we have given our best in the classrooms and our students have also learned the best. This framework is widely used across the globe in teaching, learning, and assessment activities. Yes, respected teacher, it's absolutely true. Let's learn a few terms, although because some technical terms we should always be knowing in order to draft test items and all these things. It is very important. So, well, let us like say, for example, what is the blueprint? We often don't go through these terms. We often don't repeat these terms. We often don't look into these terms very seriously, but we should. Like a blueprint, it's a description on how a test will be conducted, including the proportion of items that will assess the differences and the response formats. Competency-based assessment that are designed to measure generally the task that is cross-curricular beyond any particular curriculum. It's a constructed response item, an item by which a student constructs or generates the response to the question. These are all terms or academically technical terms, I should say, which we should know. Okay, curriculum-based assessment that are based on the measuring the students' understanding and all. Distractors, the incorrect options provided in a multiple choice item or multiple choice questions. We'll go to that in also. Content areas or the categories or subdomains that are to be included in a test, which is specific to the domain. For example, mathematics. If you take mathematics, a typical content category are numbers, space, measurement, and also. So it is better to say that domain means that particular area where we will build. A content area is that particular area where we will be making our questions or we will be talking or discussing about it. Item descriptions on which the item intends to measure. What is the very purpose of asking that question? That also you should know. Key, the correct or the only acceptable answer. Marking schemes, the description of marking scoring categories that are used. These are multiple choice items or multiple choice questions, whatever you want to say. An item that presents the several options as answers from which the student selects the correct one. Response formats, the ways in which students need to respond to the items. Example, multiple choice, closed constructed response, open, short open responses, so on and so forth. We'll discuss about it in detail. STEM, the part of the item that contains the question or the task. Okay, what is the STEM that contains the question or the task? For example, if you are asking If you are asking if you are making those multiple choice questions, then the exact question is actually known as term. STEM, that is the technical term. Stimulus material, the prompt the context on which one or more item is based. For example, in a reading test, the stimulus is often prose, the text made up of one or more paragraphs. In mathematics test, the stimulus may be a diagram or a graph. So some sort of clues that we generally give. Target population. We often you come across this term for whom we are making this question paper. And test developers, that is those responsible for producing test content, including contributing to the test design, writing items, helping to interpret the trial data or select items. So test developers are actually teachers like you and me who are making the question, who are writing the question paper. Then respected teachers will also find that it's not often necessary that the person who is teaching the subject will be the one who will be a test developer. A test developer may be a person who is more informed, who is more experienced in the school on that particular subject, can go on to make a question paper. So a test developer is not necessarily a person who is teaching this. A person is teaching, a teacher is teaching, but if he or she doesn't have that much of experience and exposition, then definitely a person who is more experienced can become a test developer. Now, what is this achievement test? We are talking about achievement test. And let us say achievement test followed by assessment and evaluation plays an important role in teaching learning process. Okay, achievement test, the normal test that we conduct, which is followed by assessment and we go for evaluation. These are the important role is played in the teaching learning process. These process help the teachers to get clear-cut information on students. Once we conduct a test, once we go for an assessment and evaluation, then we get a clear-cut idea about exactly what is happening with the students. So we can understand whether they are learning regularly or not. We can diagnose their weakness and inadequacies if there is any problem with them, and also to see that self-improvement in learning happens. Self-improvement in learning, to see that improvement is happening in the learning process. Self-improvement is also happening in the learning process. Okay. The exact definition of the academic definition of achievement test is this. Achievement test is actually a device that helps in ascertaining the quality and quantity of learning attained in a subject of study after a period of instruction by measuring the present ability of the concerned individual. Now, what is this? A lot of hi-fi talks are there. In a very simple way, I'll tell you, achievement test is a process by which we ascertain or we find out the quality and quantity of learning of a particular subject after a period of time. Respected teachers, like say, for example, we have a academic session. In an academic session, we divide it into terms, term one, term two, sometime midterm and final term. Nowadays, we go for midterm and final term. So we teach the children or the teaching learning process continues for a period of say 6 months or 5 months. And then we go for an examination. We take a test. And there we are trying to find out how much they have learned. What is their quality and quantity of learning? Now, what is this quality and quantity of learning all about? The quantity means how much in total they have studied. Say, for example, you have a syllabus and a part of the syllabus you are using for the examination, or say the whole syllabus you are using for the examination, and you are making a question paper in which the entire syllabus is covered. Suppose you make a question paper of say 35 questions or 37 questions. And if a student has written all the answers of all the questions, not necessary that he has written 100% correct, but if a student has approached all the questions and he has written the answers, we say his quantity of learning is okay, perfect, because he has covered the syllabus. And what is the quality? How we receive the answers, how the presentation is made. Some of the children, they directly copy the answers from the book or whatever the teacher has given, they write it there. They don't bother to use their own language and everything is just mugged and junked into the paper. It is also learning. And when the students come out with beautiful answers in their own words, they depict the answers, they present the answers in a complete different way, where you cannot even put your pen over there. We say the quality of learning is unique. So quantity means whether everything is learned properly or not, and quality means how it is. So if the syllabus is covered, if the student is able to answer all the questions, irrespective of whether they are 100% correct or not, that's a different story altogether, then quantity of learning is perfect. So our achievement test is a device that helps us to ascertain the quality and quantity of learning. Wow, just a minute. The objectives of this achievement test. What is the objective of this? Why we go for achievement test? To realize the degree of understanding, comprehension, and higher skills achieved by students. To realize the degree of how much they have understood in a class, how much they're able to comprehend and get the higher skills that have been taught. To identify the areas of difficulty for the students where they find it very difficult, so that we can help them out, take them out of that difficult situation. And also, results of achievement test provides feedbacks to the teachers about their teaching methods. Results of achievements test, they also give us an idea where we are standing. If in a class of 45 students, if 35 students have scored more than 75%, then we say, okay, the teacher's achievement is perfect. The teacher is teaching the methods he or she is applying, the processes they are going through, the strategies they are applying are perfect, and the teacher's teaching is good. But if it happens the other way around, if only 5 students are able to score more than 75% and rest are much below the passing level, then we say that the achievement of the teacher is also not. So it is definitely a unique tool to not only find out the quality and quantity of learning of the students, but also about the quality and quantity of teaching methods and styles of the teachers, how much the teacher has been able to do justice in the classroom. So it works on both the way. And it's very important that we should go for this also. The types of teaching achievement test. What are the different types of achievement tests that we make? There are two types of achievement test. One is known as the standardized test, and the other is known as teacher-made test. Okay. Now, according to this gentleman Lee J. Cornbeck, who is supposed to be one of the persons who played a very vital role in formulating this teaching learning process or in the examination process, he said, according to him, a standardized test is the one in which the procedures, apparatus, and scoring are fixed. At the same time, test can be given and the same test can be given at the same time at different places. These tests are generally made by, in a long drawn process, they have been prepared and their reliability and vitality is ensured. Okay, so experts via the experts. So a standardized test is the one in which the procedures, the apparatus, the measurement, how to measure the quality level of the student, the scorings, everything is fixed. Okay, example, the board examples. And that test can be given at the same time at different places. So say, for example, right now we are having the board examination. The paper is same, whether it is for Delhi or whether it is for Patna, whether it is for Dhanbad and all. And these are made by experts. These are, maybe you are one of the experts over there. Maybe I'm one of the experts over there. So these question papers or these tests are made by experts through a long drawn process. It's not that in one day or in a 2 day the paper is made and it's given. Okay, that's all. No, it's a long continuous process. Lot of research is going on in order to make the test reliable and valid. And the board examination is one such test which gives the reliability and the validity. And that is why we are so concerned about the board exam, because the board exam results reflects what type of teaching learning process is going on in our own schools. What is teacher-made test? The other one is teacher-made test. These tests are prepared by teachers themselves and are concerned with limited and specific field of knowledge or ability of performance. Now, these are like the small test or maybe the term and test we conduct, where on a specific field of learning. Say, for example, the Monday test or the Saturday test that we take, we teach students something in a particular week, and then we conduct a test on whatever has been taught within that week, and we try to find out how much they have learned. The periodic test, the weekend test, the Monday test, the year-end test are examples of teacher-made tests. These tests are highly effective in finding out the day-to-day progress of students, as well as their persistent difficulties faced by them. These small tests, why we give so much emphasis to these types of tests? The teacher method, because every day we are teaching them, something new, and we want to find out how much they have understood in that particular level. And all these small tests, they culminate together, and we go for a big test, and finally the children go for board examination. So these teacher made tests are because they're very, very effective, and we should be very much serious about this test also. Now, steps involved in achievement test. What are the different steps that we should follow in order to make an achievement test? The likelihood of preparing valid, reliable, and useful classroom test is greatly enhanced if a series of steps are followed as shown below. First of all, determine the purpose of the test. Why you are conducting the test? What is the purpose of this? What you want to find out? Second, develop the test specifications, whether it will be a monthly test, it will be a weekly test, it will be a year-end test. Then make a blueprint. We'll talk about blueprint just now. And selecting and preparing the appropriate item type. What are the different types of question? Items means question. Let me repeat once again. Item is actually the technical term for the word question that we are using. Okay. So selecting and preparing appropriate item types. These are the steps that are involved while preparing the test. Designing of achievement test, creating quality items and test is a challenging and resource intensive process. I'll tell you, respected teachers, one should have enough idea. One should have enough idea in order to make a test. Making a test is not so easy. So creating quality items and test is a challenging and resource intensive process, but it's crucial if test is to provide valid and reliable information on student achievement. So first of all, creating a quality items and test is a challenging and resource intensive process. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Many teachers can teach, but when it comes to making a question paper, it's really challenging. One should have enough idea on how to make it. And it's crucial if the test is to, and it is very crucial if the test is to provide a valid, reliable information on students' achievement. Now, we are not just conducting the test for the heck of conducting it. We also want to find out how much the student have achieved. Is the reliable and how much reliable and valid it is for the parents, because the parents are also waiting to know what is happening in the classroom, how their children are achieving, doing things. A good test focuses on what students know, understand, and can do, and measure only what it intends to measure. So a good test focuses on what the students know and they understand, and it measures only what it intends to measure. This is very important. It is equitable to all students and is free from any form of bias. It should be same for all the students. It is free from any form of bias or gender, ethnicity, or other student background that do not relate to the aspect of learning in focus. So when we are making a question paper, we just want to see, we want to focus on what the learning is, how much they have learned in the classroom. A paper should never be made, it should be equitable for all, it should be free from any form of bias. That's what the experts are saying. It should not be made for any gender. There should not be any gender or ethnicity biasness. Okay, for the girls, there should be a soft paper. For the boys, it should be a difficult paper. Okay, or for the village children who are coming from the rural areas, they may not have that much idea. For them, the paper should not be very difficult. For the students who are coming from the metro towns, they are very highly informed students. They should have a difficult paper. No, it should not be like that. A paper should be equitable and same for all. This is also something that we have to keep it in mind. Okay, not many things can be discussed right now on this matter. There are a few things which I also don't like as far as the question papers are being made or the way the subjects are coming out, but we can have a different discussion on that right now. This platform is not the right place to discuss because few of the things I also don't like as far as the question paper making is going on nowadays. We can have a different discussion on it. Characteristics of a good test. What are the characteristics of a good test? Now, it provides a fair and balanced of the aspects of learning in focus. It provides a fair and balanced of the aspects of learning in focus. Whatever students have learned, whatever you want to focus on, the students, it should be quite balanced. It's not that, okay, we will teach them something and we will ask them something different, which also sometimes happens. Contain items covering a wide range of difficulties. Items that will be prepared, it should not be very easy one. It should have a wide range of difficult. Even one word answer sometimes should become a very difficult to answer, and at the same time, maybe a 5-mark question becomes quite easy to answer it. Wide range of difficulties should be covered. It should include concepts that are central to the aspects of learning in focus. Yes, it should contain. The characteristics of good test is that the items that are prepared, they should be central to the aspects of learning. Whatever the students have learned, it should be that. Okay. Avoid giving any advantage or disadvantage to any group of students that just now I told, and is interesting to test takers. The question paper, the test that will, it should be interesting. Students should not come to the examination hall here and get frightened and scared of the test. Another problem that we face in our country is that students always have this fear for the examination. They know they have to sit for the examination, they have to take the examination, they have to come out with flying colors. But there is some sort of a fear psychosis that is there within the students. This should not be there. I am always against this. Let the students enjoy the test also. They should come out of the examination rooms or the classroom and say, oh, sir, what a paper it was. I just enjoyed giving the test. The test should be made in that way. Even if it is not made in that way, we should follow the tech as much as possible to make it in that way. Many teachers, they fancy themselves by making very difficult questions where students sometimes find it difficult to answer. That's not a good test. Go for a balanced test. I remember in my life also, in the initial stages when I started my career, when I was all absolutely raw material, had not that much idea about the teaching learning process. In my first very examination I conducted in my school, I made a very difficult paper and most of the students could not come out with good marks. Then my principal called me in her office and told me that, look, no matter how good teacher you are, how brilliant teacher you are, or how honest teacher you are, how sincere teacher you are, if your students don't pass, you are simply nothing. And those words of her are like gospels to me, and I still remember them, and I still practice them, and I still ask my teachers who are with me that please follow this method. Make a very balanced paper, question paper, and make it interesting. Students should love giving the examination. They should not be scared of the examination at all. This great man once said that understanding a question is half an answer. Okay, yes, the question should be made in such a way that half of the answer is already over there. Now, what are the different types of items or questions that we prepare, we make? Okay. You may be thinking, where is Bloom's taxonomy associated with it? Just now, just wait for 2 to 3 minutes and you will find out how revised Bloom's taxonomy is used in all these places. Okay. Now, there are two types of items. One is known as selected responses. Another is known as constructed responses. Now, selected responses are like multiple choice items or questions, true and false, fill in the blanks, match the following. The answers are already given. Examinees just need to select it. That's why they are called selected responses. And the other one is constructed responses. The short answer items, the long answer items or long answer questions are there. Here the answers are written using word sentences to construct the full answer. Like we said, okay, we use brick by brick to construct a wall. In the same way, word by word, letters are joined to words, words are joined to make sentence, and sentences joined to make a constructed response. This is why it is called constructed responses. The selected response items in this category, multiple choice items or MCQ, are the most popular ones since there is only one correct response. So they can be reliably scored. In MCQ, there's one correct answer. They can be reliably scored. Faster for the students to answer compared to constructed closed responses items. However, good MCQ or MCI are not easy to construct, okay, and require skilled test developers. Only experienced people can make good questions on MCQ or MCI. If distractors or incorrect responses are not pulsable, it becomes easy for students to get the correct answer. So what is pulsable? Pulsable means that in the beginning we discussed about distractors, and the key distractors are the answers, are the incorrect answers of a MCQ. Okay, but they should be very close to, they should be very close to the correct answer. Otherwise, the thinking capacity of the students will go away. If the answers are not compared to their level, okay, are close to them, then the students will never understand. They will never understand it. The learning process, they will give the answers, but the result that we want them from us will never come to us. So this interferes with the accurate measurement of student skill. I repeat once again, this is something that we need to know. See, The multiple choice questions are one of the most popular ones in the selected responses. And in order to answer multiple choice questions, students have to learn deeply. They have to go deeply into the matter. They have to study the content deeply, thoroughly. Then only they will be able to give the answers. Otherwise, they will not be able to give the answers. It is not so easy to give correct answers. And when we want to make, we also have to be very, very resourceful in order to make good MCQ items. It's not everybody's cup of tea. When we are making the question, the distractors or or incorrect responses should also be very close to the correct answers, which will compel the students to think, or else they will just guess the correct answer and they will come out with the correct answer. They may get marks, but it will definitely interfere with the accurate measurement of the student's skill. That is why please make MCQs with a lot of thinking. Close constructed response. What is this? Let us try to understand it. After these are the constructed response, but we are calling them as closed. Closed constructed response items or questions requires very short responses, just one or two words or a numeric, and closed. They are called closed because an answer cannot go beyond this level. As there is only one acceptable response or a limited range of responses. One cannot go beyond that. For example, if we ask a question, what is the capital of India? Definitely the answer is New Delhi. And we cannot add anything more with this. This is a closed response. And if a student has studied thoroughly, then only he or she can answer these closed response items. It is not so easy the way we think. Or say we ask, how many bones are there in an adult human being? This is a closed answer. The answer is 206. Now, this question should also be very, very specific. If we ask a question, how many bones are there in a human being, then multiple answers can come, and you don't have the choice but to give marks, even if you think but the answer that you are looking for is not written by the student. So that is why my request to all of you, whenever you are preparing question, be very, very specific. If you want a specific answer, make a very specific question. Or say, what are the contents of the nucleus of an atom? As far as class 10 students' knowledge is concerned, we say the nucleus of an atom contains only protons and neutrons, nothing beyond that. So these are closed responses. Thank you very much, Varsha madam. These are closed responses, and these closed responses are actually the measurements of finding out how much a student has learned. Because one cannot go beyond this. No? So you have to be very specific with this. Now we have short open responses. Now we are calling them open response. There is limitation. Here, limitation is not there, but still, the correctness should be there. Short open response item requires students to generate or construct their own answers. They will construct their own answers in their own language. And a wide range of correct responses are acceptable over here, namely short explanations, mathematical expressions, diagrams, analysis or evaluation, space on paper, and adequate time must be provided to them. Okay, so short open responses are where a wide range of correct responses can be given. Now, these responses are like short example explanations they can give, or maybe they can give us a mathematical expression, or maybe they will make a drawing or diagrams or illustrations. And in order to go for this, we should give enough space in the paper so that the student should understand how much he or she has to write. Short open responses are mostly used to assess basic level of knowledge and understanding. Knowledge and understanding, we are coming to this area of Bloom. Okay, so these questions generally we ask to find out how much knowledge they have gained or how much they can remember, they can understand. Okay, example, like say, for example, differentiate between distance and displacement. We can ask a question. Our Himanshu sir is sitting over there, physics man. Okay, so I will not talk too much about this question because I myself is not a physics man, but differentiate between the distance and displacement. Well, here, the student will give you a concrete idea. Well, distance is the actual length traveled by a body, whereas displacement is the swiftest distance traveled by a body from one place to another place. So in this way, they will write and they will give us the correct answers. Or why human blood circulation is called double circulation. There is a reason. Give what they have understood. The student have not have learned about circulation. Okay, circulation is the process by which the blood moves all around the body. But why human circulation is called double circulation? What is the basic idea behind this? Because in human circulation, we know that blood from various parts of the body comes to the heart, or we can start it in this way, that blood rich in carbon dioxide from the right atrium goes to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it is pushed into the right ventricle, it is pushed into the lungs, and in the lungs the carbon dioxide is given out and oxygen is absorbed, and then the blood returns back to the left atrium. So from ventricle to lungs, from lungs to left ventricle when it comes. So this is one complete circulation. This is known as pulmonary circulation. That blood rich in carbon dioxide, rich in oxygen from the left atrium goes to the left ventricle. It is pushed through the aorta, through and travels throughout the body, and then comes back to the right atrium. That is another circulation, which is known as systemic circulation. Since the blood circulates twice inside the body, once for the pulmonary circulation, the next one is for the systemic circulation. It is called double circulation. This is how we will need the answers. They will write it. So short open responses we sometimes, or say draw a well-labeled diagram of the various types of soils found in the country. They can make a tabulated form of that drawing. Okay, black soil, redwood soil, sand soil, alluvium soil, so on and so forth. Students also have the option to answer in bullet point form too. Okay, these types of questions, if they write in today's we call them as bullet points. If they write point by point also, they should be also given marks. We can make a question for this. Generally, we use short open responses to find out how much knowledge they have got, how much understanding that's okay. Yeah, and then we come to the essay type items. Essay type items are designed to elicit a response, one or more paragraph from the students when we need when we want to see total understanding of this. Teachers can write highly challenging items to ask students to analyze, compare, draw complex and conclusion. Nowadays, we talk a lot about this competency-based questions. It is this area where we can ask them more competency-based questions to find out exactly how much concept they've acquired. Answer to essay type items require basic response. When they will write, these following steps they should follow, or rather we should teach them in such a way that they follow this. Okay, like there should be always an introductory section, or say what is the aim of this question, what is the aim of this answer, what are the outcomes. We can give summary of the main points or ideas that the students will write, and what issues related to the topic, what results are generated, or what are the issues related to the topic. And then we'll come with conclusions of upcoming actions. Nowadays, we have these case-based questions also from these answers can be written in this form. These 3 or 4 parts should be there. Like one example is given over here. Explain the circumstances that helped the middle class to bring social and economic changes in France in 18th century. Okay, this is an essay type answer where the students can follow all these steps of giving an introductory section, summary of the point, result oriented and all, and they can come out with an answer. We all remember those social science teachers. I'm not a social science man, but they know that what exactly happened, how the middle class really played a big changes in in social changes in France in the 18th century when the king and the queen, they were ruling, and in France some sort of starvation took place, and all the common men and women, they went to the queen or the king and asked them to give us breads. We are starving, we don't have food. And then the queen said, oh, they want breads, give them cakes. They want bread. No, give them cakes. And in the history of mankind, it is supposed to be one of the degrading remark that has been ever made to human beings. They say, oh, they want bread, give them cakes. And after that, you know how the common people, they went inside the palace, they just ransacked the palace, took out the king and the queen and hanged them. That's how the French Revolution took place. It is said that France also showed the way how human beings should be. Okay, in this way, we can make the questions and the responses we are supposed to get. How to make short answer type questions? The same thing is repeated over here. Take care of make sure that the item that you are asking for should be about the learning part. Take care of the linguistic level of the students, the language level. We should not make questions where the students may not understand the language at all. Make sure that the item is clearly, we get the correct answer. Make sure that the item clearly specify how the respondent has to answer them, whether it's a long answer, short answer, that should be very clear about it. Use direct questions format. Avoid copying text directly from textbook. Okay, these are some of the points. Many more points are there to be added. How to write long answer? Again, write the item in simple, clear, and direct language. Carefully consider the duration. Make sure that the students know how much they have to write. Make sure a marking scheme is also best, and always maintain the linguistic level. Multiple choice. So let us just give a little thought to this. This is something that needs to be discussed. A multiple choice item or a multiple choice question consists of the following. Okay, how to make it? Okay, it consists of a lead sentence, which will lead, then it consists of a stimulus. Maybe the stimulus is there, may not be there. The question of the stem should be there, and the distractors and the key. The distractors are the incorrect answers, and the key is the correct answer. So these are the parts that are there in a lead sentence. Now, lead sentence, it directs the use. It directs the student to use the stimulus or provide related information about the stimulus. A lead sentence is one which will give us some ideas about what is the question all about in a very simple way. Okay. Stimulus, this is the information that is required to give the answer. A stimulus may be also there, may not be also there always. Stem is the text that states the question of the problem, which is clearly aligned to the learning outcome. STEM is actually the question that you are asking in a MCQ. Key refers to the correct answers or the best alternatives. Distractors, the incorrect answers, but pulsable. Pulsable means very close to the correct answer. And rational, sometimes given refers to justification that explains why a certain distractor is pulsable yet incorrect or demonstrate common misconceptions. So sometimes it is given, sometimes it is not given. Let us see how to make an MCQ. Okay, one question we will see how to prepare it. Now see this question. This is the lead sentence. A bus driver is driving along a straight road. The bus driver named Ray has a cup of water resting on the dashboard. A bus driver is driving a bus. Okay, on the dashboard, there is a cup of water resting. Okay, now this is the stimulus material. You can see a diagram will be given in this form in sometimes with a lot of information within that. Then the second part we are getting, suddenly Ray has to slam on the brakes. He gives the brakes. Okay, fine. What is most likely to happen to the water in the glass? This is the question. This is called STEM. This is the question. So we have a lead sentence over here, followed by a stimulus. Within the stimulus, we are getting a diagram. We are getting the direction by which the bus is traveling. And then we have the actual question. What is most likely to happen to the glass? Okay, can we get some answers from the chat boxes? If you just read this question and tell me what will happen to the glass. Okay, will it topple on side 2? Will it topple on side 1? Or will it not topple or not at all? Or what will happen? Can anybody guess this answer? Let us see before we move forward. We still have some more time. We have a question on MCQ. A bus is driving along a straight road. The bus driver named Ray, he's having a cup of water resting on the dashboard. Then we can see in which direction the bus is moving. We can see the class. There are certain points are given. And suddenly Ray has to slam the brakes. Now what will happen to the glass of water? Will it topple down towards side 2? Will it topple down towards side 1? Or it will not topple down at all? Or it will just go on sinking? Can anybody give the answer in the chat box? Let us see if we can get an answer from the chat box. Okay, we are not getting any answer. I don't know what is the issue. Okay. Now, see, there are 4 answers are there. The water will stay horizontal. The water will spill over side 1. The water will spill over side 2. This is the water will spill over, but you can't say it will spill inside 1 or side 2. Now, 3 answers are wrong. It will not stay horizontal. It will not spill over side 1. It will spill over side 2. That is the correct answer. This question is a physics-based question, which is actually like inertia of motion. It is from inertia of motion. And so all 3 answers, if you see the 3 answers, they are very close to the correct answer, but only one answer is correct. This is how we should make MCQ questions. Let us be very, very specific with the question, and the distractors should be pulsable. They should be very close to the correct answer. Guidelines for writing MCQs, align items for learning outcomes. Make sure that whatever you are teaching, it should Questions should be made from that. The items should have important contents. The language should be clear. Grammar should be clear. Okay. Items should be clearly framed. There should not be any negative. The pedagogy says that try not to make any negative items, or items and options should not be repeated. An item should have only one correct answer. That is something that needs to be taken into care. Options should be phrased in such a way that there are no opposites. The opinions should be pulsable, similar to the options should be pulsable, which I am talking right from the beginning. And vary the key, vary the key position. Now, sometimes what we do, respected teachers, in order to make the correction process easy, we try to give the correct answer on the same position. Like all the correct answers will have A. No, this should not be like that. Vary the position. First correct answer may be A, second maybe B, third maybe C, fourth again maybe B, like that. So we should make it in this. Otherwise, the very essence of the examination will go away. Next, we will see what is a blueprint and how to prepare it. Okay. A blueprint is a critical document that summarizes the structure of assessment and determines how a test to be developed. Okay. Which talks about the strand, the topic, the subtopic, the curriculum, what are to be tested, what are the levels to be assessed, so on and so on forth. Okay. Now, this is the structure of a blueprint. All of you, please see it clearly. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. Now, you see, we have all these columns. Content area, from where you are making the question. What is the topic you are talking about? Okay, we are talking about, say, for example, motion, subtopic, inertia of motion. Now, L1, what is level 1 of Bloom's taxonomy? What is the question you are asking? Whether it is from understanding, whether it is of level 2, that is for comprehension, or whether it is for analysis or application or creation. So like that, you have to remember the Bloom's taxonomy part. This is why Bloom's taxonomy is important, because whenever we make a question, we have to discuss about which level of Bloom's taxonomy we are dealing with. What type of questions we are making, whether it is easy question, whether it is a mediocre question or a very difficult question. What is it selected? Is it a selected response? Whether it is a constructed response type 1, short one, or constructed response type 2. How many items we are putting for this, and what is the test timing? So this is, in general, is a test blueprint which all teachers should prepare for their own subject and submit it to principal. It is not possible for principal to go and find out each and every paper, but from this one, principal will know. And please, for God's sake, if you are making it, it's very good. If you are not preparing it, from next preparing it, because very soon we have to follow the processes of SQA, where we have to give a complete analysis of what we are doing in the schools. So this will be required. A tentative layout, it will be like this. Okay, I'm giving this also. You can take a screenshot of this, where you will write the class, subject, the assessment, whether it is for what you are going for this assessment, then the topic, the subtopic, then Bloom's taxonomy level 1, level 2, how many types of questions you are preparing, whether it is easy, mediocre, or what, and then selected response 1, selected response 2, constructed response, so on and so forth. Okay, so in this way you will prepare the blueprint. It is an essential document. How to make items using Bloom's taxonomy. This particular slide is again very important. Very, very important. Like, for example, if you want to follow the way of remembering, if you are in the domain of remembering, your questions should start in this way. What is so and so? How is? Where is? When did it happen? List 3 things or 4 things. Who was? In this way, you should start when you want to make questions from the domain remembering. Understanding. The next domain is under how we are using Bloom. How would you classify? How would you compare? State in your own words. Now, when we ask questions in this way, we are actually trying to find out how much the students have understood. Applying. How would you use? And so on and so forth. What examples can you find out? Solve this using what you have learned. How do you show your understanding? This is the application world. Analyzing. What do you think? What is the theme? What motive is there? Evaluating. What is your opinion? When they are going for some critical analysis. How do you prove or disprove that this theory is right or wrong or whatever it may be? How do you recommend for a change or addition? How do you rate this? These are the questions. These are the ways we should start the questions. And creating, how do you improve? What would have happened if this was this? What could be done to minimize or maximize? How to design, and so on and so forth. This is how we make. You have plenty of other examples, but you just simply cannot forget Bloom. or better to say revise Bloom's taxonomy when you are preparing the question paper. Be a very professional question paper maker. Be a very professional test developer. You will learn it and you will master the art of making it. Well, once the test is conducted, review the test items. Once you are ready with the question paper, add in the items as per the criteria, provide proper instruction to the examinees, what they should do in order to give the answers. Once the examination is over, apprise the test or the item analysis. Item does its job effectively or not, whether the item has done, whether the difficulty level or the discriminatory level was perfect or not, and how powerful results we have got out of that. See, our work does not end with by conducting the test and giving the result. Then we must also sit together, or we must sit individually on our own subject and find out from the answers paper the question that I am asked. Are they really worthwhile? What they really needed? Has the students really understood something? Was the teaching learning process went on perfectly within the term? Because by conducting the test, this is an important aspect of teaching learning process. Respected teachers, we must do it. We should do it. In my school, we also do it. Find out. We give 1 or 2 days to analyze the paper. Then only the teaching learning process will go in the proper way. You will find interest in doing your work properly. Here we have this last year's question paper of chemistry, class 12, and you see what are the various domains they were asked, remembering and understanding, 28 marks from remembering and understanding, from application 21 marks, and analyzing, evaluating, and creating 21 marks. So questions were like exhibit the memory of previously learned material, recalling the facts, items. These were all used. Okay, these are all used. Analyzing and evaluating, examine, break information parts. Okay, so no chapterized weightage is ever given. We take all the chapters together in whichever subject we are teaching, but we give the marks of the weightage is given by using Bloom's taxonomy, various domains of Bloom's taxonomy in this way. Remembering and understanding 28 marks. This is a chemistry paper, like that, the biology paper or other science paper, they are all made in this way. And in your own classroom also, for your own subject, for which particular subject you are working with or dealing with, you should also prepare it in this way. Okay, this is how we should go with the process of learning, right? Okay. So that's all. Thank you, teachers, for being with me with this short discussion. Not many can be discussed. If you want to add up something, if you want to give something more, you can. You are always there to contact me or write to me, and I'll be always there to help you out with whatever is necessary. And I also require your help to make the training program much better for the coming days. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Revise Bloom's taxonomy and drafting test items. Question paper making is an art, respected teacher. Please dive deep into it, make your hands dirty, and come out with the best questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Excellent session, I must say.
Thank you, sir.
One of the best one. I must clap.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So we need item drafting to dive upon more and more.
Yes.
Find our teachers to emphasize upon it, to learn how the items are being drafted.
Right.
So
actually, sir, to be very honest with you,
yeah.
If we have a online session, to okay, we can superficially discuss. If we go for an offline session, sir, then this will turn out to be a very wonderful session because a lot of activities we can do over there.
Absolutely.
So maybe in future we can go for this also.
Very nice session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So on behalf of Aryabhata Saurya School Complex and our founder chairman, our president, vice president, secretary, our deputy training coordinator, and all the members, I must thank our resource person once again for such a resounding session, and would also thank to all the participants who have been there in the session. There's one request to all the participants for the coming sessions, that be here on time. Don't try to enter in mid of the session. You are losing a very, very important discussion, which can empower yourself to to excel well in your professional life as well. So be on
Definitely,
time.
sir. That's true,
Be
sir.
on time. There is one more announcement that we have already shared you shared the link for your marking attendance and feedback. So the announcement is that the timing given was 6:15. Now since it is already 6:15, so you can mark your attendance for the next 15 minutes more up to 6:30. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the participants for listening so patiently. And definitely, we'll be back again in the next coming sessions with some more new things, new interesting things we'll come back with. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you so much, sir.
you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.